innovation came to bear, which innovation is a big word that needs to be more than doing something faster, better, quality, with style, and at lower cost.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
In terms to move them from the mindset like, yes, you create an amazing product, but this is just a tiny part of what's going to happen. And the same energy that you put to this product development, same energy has to go to areas of marketing, sales, product market fit, pivot it and twist it until it gets fit for the market. Tell us a little bit more about your experience.
Well, the key is understanding the customer, and then testing to the point in which you find 15 unmet needs that your product or service is going to satisfy. And the way you do that first is become like a social anthropologist and observe what your customers are doing. Then interview 40 to 80 of them, and then survey 800 to 1,200 of them as a representative sample of your target market. That gives you the core hard data that you can then use to project the size of the market, what your product should cost, and the value that it creates. And then you can calculate your return on investment. And then that's the information you take to your seed investors or your venture capitalists, and it will give them confidence. They'll give you 10 to 1 or 100 to 1 return on investment that they're going to need in order to make an investment in your company.
So what you do? Yeah.
Typically, I found many entrepreneurs are too arrogant and too caught up with how smart they think they are that they fail to do that.
Thank you.
And I know more of them that have gone out of business that have been successful.
Exactly. Thank you so much, David, for spelling it as it is. Yeah. So what do you do with entrepreneurs that tell you, David, you don't understand, my product is so good and I solving a problem that nobody's solving, and you don't know what you're talking about. I don't need to focus in interviewing the client to see what product is solved, because I patent this product and this product is amazing. And if you have a good product, it will sell by itself. So why you tell to this founder? Because I find those ones again talking to me. I'm like, guys, come on.
Again, you got to make sure that you are doing what the customer wants to get done.
Absolutely.
And you can't do that by saying, hey, what do you want to do, or what do you need? Because that requires the customer to identify and understand what the problem is that they have, and also the solution. And historically, the story goes that Henry Ford, the inventor of the low-cost automobile, went out in the streets of Dearborn, not far from where I grew up in Detroit, and he asked people if they'd like to have a car. And they said, no, I want a faster horse. Well, if he had sat on a stoop of one of the saloons on Main Street in Dearborn and had a mug of beer, he would have noticed people beating their horses with a stick to get through town faster. And if you had big data available, and suppose the internet was available back then, what I'm illustrating here is the folly of just only using big data or analytics to determine what it is that your product needs to do. He asked people if he had done an internet search for how many people were searching for the keyword car or automobile, he would have found zero.
Absolutely.
Product didn't exist yet, and therefore these roads and parking lots that we see today are figments of our imagination. So you got to be careful when you're using big data.
Thank you, David. That's really powerful. Really, really powerful. And I think that you're right on point in something. It's all about listening to your customer. It's not about you. It's not about your product. And yes, if you decide, you might create a product that doesn't exist out there, right? Yet, you have to listen to your clients. Even when I started my first business, yes, it was a property business. We wanted to sell for 5 million. And I remember the first room that I went to rent it, I opened the door to the first guy, and he saw the room. And I told him, "Do you want to take the room?" He told me, "No." I said, "Why?" He said, "Look, the room needs a little bit of painting. It's not good like this." And then he left. And as soon as he left, I went to the painting shop and I said to the guy, "Listen, I need to paint a room, and I never paint in my life. I need this." And the guy told me, "Yes, Harry, I can tell that you never paint in your life because you don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, take everything." So I went there, I paint that room, I paint myself. It was created total mess, but I managed to paint the room. Then the next guy come, I opened the door, I said, "Look, this is the room. What do you think?" And she told me, "Well, it's clean, but you know, it's a little bit cold. It needs something warm." So as soon as the girl left, I went to IKEA and I bought these bed sheets that they are pink, orange, and red. I said, more warm impossible. And then I bought painting in black and white. And then on the way back also, I spent £1, I think, buy some flour. And then the third girl come. I opened the door and said, "Look, this is the room." And the guy said, "I take it." And that was the end of it. So I thought that I wanted that the product was selling one form, but was the client who was telling me, he was giving me clues. If you do that, I might take it. If they were shaping the product. And this is kind of, I always tell this story, David. Is it real? Is it really like this kind of analogy, how it works in real life to get a product market fit?
Yeah, it's can't get to the market fit until you understand what the customer wants to do, when, where, why, how, so forth. And related to a point you made earlier, most new products are not really new products. They're usually innovations on existing ways of doing things.
100%.
Example I give there is the first caveman or cave woman took a piece of burned wood called charcoal, and they would draw or write on their cave wall. Well, they noticed that they couldn't take the cave wall to the next cave to show to their friends, so they invented a slate. So it was a piece of rock that they could carry. And then they noticed that that was kind of heavy, so they eventually invented paper, which was a lot lighter. And to write with, they got tired of getting their hands dirty with the charcoal, so they wrapped the charcoal with some wood and called it a pencil. And then they got tired of having to constantly sharpen the pencil, so they noticed that if they took a feather out of a duck, they could dip it in some ink and write on the paper with that. And they got tired of spilling the ink on their paper, so the society or entrepreneurs invented the ballpoint pen. Then people got tired of writing so slowly, so a typewriter was invented. But it hurts your fingers to pound away on a mechanical typewriter, and it got electrified. And then they noticed that if you wanted to do the same letter over and over again, you had to type it over and over again. So word processing was. Then you had dedicated word processors like Wang and Xerox, and IBM, and then someone wrote a program called Word Perfect, which was a word processor ran on an ordinary personal computer, and the whole field has transitioned, particularly for that same need that the caveman had many years ago. And innovation came to bear, which innovation is a big word that means nothing more than doing something faster, better, quality, with style, and at lower cost.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.